Fan of Vidyard too. That's cool. I'm going right after Vidyard. That's great. Good stuff.
I'm trying to figure out. I have just to say that. Is it Kevin Intelligence? Is it the real Kevin?
Oh, he's human Kevin, not
Human Kevin.
intelligence. No. Yeah. I maybe I could use some help on the demo from Kevin Intelligence, so we'll see how it goes.
Let's do it.
Cool. So we should just go for it, get started.
Hmm.
All right, one sec. Let me just make sure. Oops, I didn't want to not share my video. I want to share my screen. Okay, so I know I got 15 minutes, and I promise not to make this too much slideware. Um, oof, there we go. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to start on is just like for the audience here, is just like a primer on what Common Room does because I feel like it sets the context for how agents work on top of all this data. And so this is the one slide I use to describe what Common Room does. It's a platform for generating pipeline. That's kind of like the common through line. But the three pillars of it are one, capturing signal, buying signals from every possible corner of the internet possible, including using AI to capture bespoke signals. And then unifying the person and the accounts behind those signals so that you know that the same person that's visiting your website is the same person who's just changed jobs or that's like commenting on social or whatever. And so unifying that all into a single user profile and then rolling that up to the account level. And then also, waterfall enrichment on the back end of all that. So not only do you know that it's this person, but you have all the details you need to contact them, create segments, build different like micro campaigns and stuff like that. And so if you combine these two things, you can then, activate based on, what someone's done, what signals an account is showing you, and help reps really prioritize their outbound motion, but then also help marketing and help all these other things. So the last part here is like kind of putting these two things together and taking action on them. And so if you think about it, like this is a nice like foundational layer for agents to like go do their thing on top of all this data. And so that's kind of like where what I'm going to be more demoing today versus like the infrastructure of how to make all this happen. So it's kind of like how we can use agents to go capture signal, how we can use agents to orchestrate different pipeline plays and service up the best leads for reps, and then how those reps can do things like cut account research time by orders of magnitude, or send I hate to use the term AI SDR, but send like a personalized outbound message using AI to generate that message powered by all these signals. So that's kind of like what I'm going to demo today, and might as well just jump into it. Okay, so I kind of have this checklist. I don't know if people can see it. I have this checklist that I created in Notion of like all the different things that I wanted to go through to keep me in check. So let's hopefully the demo AI gods or whatever are with me. Kevin Intelligence is with me, and I can I can or do these things without any too many hiccups. So let's start with the first one, which is doing account research. And so like this is a demo environment of what Common Room looks like. You can see we have, a pretty healthy amount of accounts in here that might be in our book of business or whatever. And so just by having these accounts and loading them into Common Room, we're going to do a lot of things to identify like what's happening at this account at the account level, but then also like the context within that account. The one thing that I wanted to show here that's really helpful is like account research used to be this thing that was like very tedious and mundane, and like having to go sift through all these different things and Google searches or whatever to like find out like what you should know about this account. That is like a really good job for an AI agent to go do for you. And so you can see here we already have our agent that has gone and crawled Vercel and has returned back these different like buckets of research that my team might care about. And we do this out of the box, but then it's also super customizable and flexible to your own business model and go-to-market motion. So you can see here, we've pulled out certain things about every account. If I go into any other account, it'll kind of show this stuff too. And if I go into detail, we can see like, oh, this is Vercel's business model. Maybe I should like for a rep, I want to know if they have a freemium product or something because that applies to like how I would go outbound to that account. So this is cool, but then the kind of fun magic demo part of it is to like just do this from a fresh account. So if I find something here, I'm actually going to go to the next page. I think there's better examples here that haven't been done. And you can see like some of these have these like sparkles. That means that we've done the account research there. So I'm going to pick one. Hopefully this is not hopefully this is a good example. Actually, Square is probably a better example. I mean, pick Square. It's better to pick public companies because it does look at like earnings calls and stuff like that. And if I click on overview here, you can see that we don't have this AI research. Essentially, our AI agent is going out and fetching that signal on Square, and then it's going to return it back to us in hopefully this 60 seconds. Hopefully, no one's keeping a time watch for me, but it should show up very soon here. But while it's doing that, and while the agent is doing its thing, I'm going to go in the background and show you kind of like what's happening behind the scenes here. So if I go to settings, I can click on this Roomy AI. This is our agent settings and look at capture. And so anything that's turned on here is kind of what's showing in that other view. So if I look at the business model, essentially like this is just a prompt that is totally customizable. And we have a whole prompt library that's helpful for people to use if you want to look at commonroom.io. Maybe I can link that out at some point. But essentially, we just have like a very simple prompt, and what's happening at each of these accounts is our AI agent is going out, doing real time search and reasoning, and then pulling back a answer to this, so that and returning it to that Vercel or whatever account. I forget what the one I just looked at was. Square. So if I go back, maybe we'll see. Okay, it's not there yet. But you will see something like this that's returned on each account once it's gone and done all that kind of processing. Maybe there's too many prompts happening here. Now, the other thing I want to show, and I'll maybe come back and show you the magic in a sec, is that not only do these things come out of the box, but you can modify and create new ones. And so if I go back to our Roomy AI research agent here, I can go and look at like there's one prompt for primary competitors. You can see here, this is just similar prompt. It's like, go find this primary competitors of this organization. But one thing I might want to add to that is, and build upon that, is like, find me negative reviews of that primary competitor. So I have another prompt here that's not yet turned on that is saying, okay, we've already gone and researched this one bit about this account. We've found who their primary competitors are. Let's build upon that signal that we've captured. And this is kind of like where it becomes more agentic when you're daisy chaining these things together, as like, let's go find their primary competitors and return, and then go find negative reviews about those primary competitors. And maybe we want to use that as like a hook in an email. And I'm going to tie this all together in the actual like actioning demo too. So that's what this prompt is doing. And so if I wanted to, I could just simply turn this prompt on the last screen. It was not on. So negative competitor reviews. I could turn this on. I'm not going to do it for this, but I do have it in another instance. And then real quick before I do that, let's go back and see if Square is populated yet. If not, oh, there we go. Great. Yes. So we have the all of that research signal now pulled into the Square account. So like maybe it was a little longer than 60 seconds, but pretty fast. Much faster than a human going and doing it. So I'm going to say that one is done. And then also this next one is capturing bespoke enrichment signals. That was the primary competitor thing I showed. So great, let's check this. Okay, and then I'm going to close. I'm going to keep that open. It's fine. Okay, so this next instance, I now have both of those fields, the primary competitors and the negative reviews, already populated for all of many of these accounts in here. And so let's say I want to build a micro campaign, a micro segment for a certain competitor, and like my team wants to use those. Anyone who is competing against that competitor, like use their negative reviews as a hook to like get them to read the email that I'm sending out. So hopefully that makes sense. What one thing that's really powerful with Common Room is like now that we're pulling in that signal from, if I pick on Atlassian here, we can now filter by any of these other any of this data that's returned. So I can build micro campaigns and segments based off of this information. It's like going and finding enriching signals, I guess. And so say I want to find anyone who's competing with Intercom. So I can click on add filter here and I can type in primary competitors. And then this will allow me to just do a open text field and say Intercom here. And this is going to give me 109 organizations that have Intercom listed as a primary competitor. And so if I click on one of these, like Gorgeous, hopefully hopefully, I actually haven't looked at this before, so hopefully it's accurate. But if I look at competitors, our primary competitors, oh, here it's down here. You can see that these are listed, intercoms listed here, and it gives sources. So great, that was accurate. And then we also have this primary competitors, negative competitor reviews. You can see here that it's like pulling different reviews from different places and giving also sources there. So let's pick another account here. Maybe I want to target, and I know someone at customer, so I'm purposefully picking this. And so I want to reach out to someone at customer using that negative competitor review as a hook. So what I can do is I can select Sam here. I can click into Sam, and this will give me all of the signals and information that we have about Sam. And I can have a Common Room's AI agent, we call it Roomy AI, draft a message. And I call this one the competitor neg. So if I click on this, it's going to pull up and generate an outbound message that I can copy, paste, modify, do whatever I want, and send that to Sam. And you can see here, it's kind of cool. It's like pulling it that, intercom is expensive. This is a quote from that intercom like someone talking poorly about intercom, and we can say like, hey, like this is someone saying something bad about intercom. Yeah, you're a competitor to them and you have this competitive advantage of self-serve motion. Here's how you can use, I'm using common room in this case, here you can use common room to like exploit that negative sentiment from that competitor. So it's like kind of stitching together all these different things to create this really bespoke email. And if I do it for someone else, let's just go back here and click on Rick maybe. It'll be a separate message. And let me look at this one. So it'll generate that message specifically for Rick, and you can kind of see it's in the same format here. And so to show you what that looks like behind the scenes, and I only have a couple minutes left here, I'm going to go into settings, and this is on now our agentic, like go find and generate an AI SDR type of message for this person. If I look at this, I can look at competitor nig. I think was the name of it. Yes. Edit, and you can see here that we're pulling in those signals from that we went out and fetched from Roomy AI. So the negative competitor reviews are here. We have their business model here. We have risk analysis here. These are all those custom agentic signals that we're pulling in at the account level and using that to inform our outbound email. So like really, really cool stuff here. And then let me go back to this and make sure. So we built a micro campaign. This is that segment of accounts using intercom, using AI to filter by that segment, and then identify our best bet prospects. That was the people who I should show this. If I look at Gorgeous, for example, you can see their contact score here. And these are like the best people to reach out to because they've had these certain signals. So it's kind of like surfacing up the best contacts to reach out these accounts. And then we generated an outbound contextual message. Great, check. And then the last thing I wanted to show is how you can just, if you say you're doing this and running, you're finding that like you're going through each contact and you're clicking on different contacts and you're just adding them to an outreach sequence, and you're doing them all kind of like on autopilot. It doesn't make sense for a rep to just like go through and like do this one by one, although you can do it kind of in bulk like this. But so let's say you want to automate that whole end-to-end process. So for that, we have these like really powerful workflows where I can just say, create a new workflow. I can say, run this for a set of contacts as I'm going to be emailing contacts or putting contacts through a sequence. I'm going to add that filter for primary competitor here. Let me zoom in a little bit so people can see. Add a filter, primary competitor contains, oops, hold on, I'm clicking around funkily here. Intercom, 1 minute left. And then I'll add a filter for like making sure that they're, an economic buyer, director level title or above. And then the last step here is I can add them to a, whatever sequence, but I'm going to pick outreach sequence here. And then I can select that same demo or whatever sequence, select my mailbox, and then save this. And then anytime someone qualifies for that, they'll be automatically put into that sequence. So you can really do like a crawl, walk, run approach using this method. So I think I got everything checked off. And then the last thing I just wanted to say is, a plug for Common Room. You can try this out for free. For anyone viewing this, I'm offering a 30-day trial up from 14, so that's great. And then 5,000 credits of using like AI, what's it called, tokens. So, and then also I talk about this stuff all the time on LinkedIn. Sometimes I have an AI agent do that for me. I call it Kev Intelligence, and check me out on LinkedIn. So that's it.
Wow,
Perfect
that's
timing.
amazing timing. I'm not sure that this is like actually not it's some kind of automation, Kevin.
All
Always a pleasure. I'll see you.
right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.